I was 31 and had been looking forward to this romantic weekend getaway with my partner for months. We'd saved up for a nice hotel in downtown San Diego, ocean view room, the whole 9 yards. It was supposed to be our little escape after a stressful year at work, just the two of us. No phones, no deadlines, just good food, long walks, and time to reconnect. We checked in late Friday afternoon, laughing as we rode the elevator up to the 12th floor. The room was perfect. Big windows that let in the golden afternoon light. A private balcony overlooking the bay with 2 comfortable chairs, soft lighting, a huge bed, everything you dream about when you need to recharge. We ordered room service, watched the sunset from the balcony while sipping wine, talked about everything and nothing, and fell asleep happy and relaxed, wrapped up in each other. The next night we'd been out exploring the city, had a great dinner, and got back around midnight feeling tired but content. My partner crashed almost immediately, but I stayed up a little longer, sipping water on the balcony, because the view was just too beautiful to ignore. The air was cool and salty. The city lights sparkled below like scattered jewels. Waves lapped gently in the distance, and I felt completely at peace for the first time in ages. That's when I first noticed it, a shadow on the balcony next door. At first, I thought it was just the way the curtains were moving in the breeze, or maybe a reflection from the lights inside. But then it shifted. Someone was standing there, perfectly still, facing our room. I couldn't see a face, just the outline of a person watching. My stomach did a little flip, but I told myself it was another guest enjoying the view the same way I was. Lots of people stay up late on vacation. No big deal. I went inside, closed the sliding door, drew the curtains, and convinced myself I was imagining things. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up thirsty. The room was dark and quiet except for my partner's steady breathing. I padded over to the balcony door and peeked through a tiny gap in the curtains. The shadow was still there, closer this time, and the person was leaning forward, like they were trying to see past the reflection on the glass. My heart picked up speed. I woke my partner quietly and whispered what I had seen. We both looked together. Nothing. The balcony next door was empty, just the empty chairs and the railing. We laughed it off as paranoia from being in a new place, the kind of thing that happens when you're overtired. We went back to sleep, but I lay there for a while staring at the ceiling, that uneasy feeling lingering even though I tried to push it away. The following night it happened again. Same time, same shadow, but now the figure was pressing a hand against the glass divider between balconies. I could see the faint outline of fingers spread out, like they were testing how solid the barrier was. The sight made my mouth go dry. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands, heart racing, and called the front desk. There's someone on the balcony next to ours staring into our room. They're right there. The night manager sounded bored, almost like he'd heard it 100 times. Sir, that balcony is on a different wing and isn't accessible from your side of the building. No one should be out there. We'll send security to check right away. 20 long minutes later, he called back, all clear. Security walked the entire area. No one on any balconies. Must have been a shadow or the wind moving something. But I couldn't shake the feeling. It kept replaying in my head. The way the figure had leaned in, the hand on the glass. The next morning, while we were checking out, I glanced toward the lobby bar and saw the night manager talking quietly to a man in a dark jacket. The same build, same posture as the shadow I'd seen. The man looked straight at me for a second, held my gaze a beat too long, then turned away like nothing had happened. We left the hotel early that day. I still can't sit on a balcony at night without feeling eyes on me, without wondering if someone is out there watching, waiting for the lights to go off. I was 28, and on a solo road trip up the California coast, the kind of trip you take when you need to clear your head after a bad breakup. I'd been driving for hours, windows down, music loud, stopping only for gas and cheap coffee. By the time I pulled into a mid-range hotel off the highway near Santa Barbara around 10 p.m., I was exhausted but in that good, road-weary way. The lobby was quiet. Just the hum of the vending machines and a single clerk at the desk. He was friendly enough, chatted about the weather, gave me my key for room 114 on the ground floor near the back. I liked that it was close to the parking lot so I could keep an eye on my car. I dropped my bag, took a quick hot shower to wash off the day, ordered a soda from the machine, and climbed into bed, ready to sleep like the dead. I was just drifting off when the first knock came. Soft but deliberate. Around 1:15 a.m. maintenance, a man's voice said through the door. "We have a report of a leaky faucet in your bathroom." I hadn't called anyone, and the faucet had been fine when I showered. I stayed perfectly still, listening. The voice tried again, a little louder. "Just need to check it real quick. Won't take more than a minute." Something about the tone felt off, too eager. I called the front desk from bed, keeping my voice low. The clerk answered sleepily. "No maintenance requests tonight, sir." "We'll look into it." The knocking stopped after a minute, but I lay there wide awake, heart beating a little faster, wondering if I'd imagined the whole thing, or if the clerk had just been half asleep. An hour later, it happened again. Different knock pattern, same voice, different excuse. "Housekeeping forgot to restock your minibar." I have the items right here. I hadn't touched the minibar, I hadn't even opened it. I told the voice firmly to go away and called the front desk again. Same clerk, now sounding a little annoyed, "Sir, no one from our team is on that floor right now. We don't have anyone doing restocks this late." I wedged the desk chair under the door handle, double-checked the deadbolt, and tried to sleep, but every little creak in the building made me tense up. Around 3:40 a.m., the knock came louder, more insistent. The voice knew my name this time. "Mr. Thompson, we really need to come in. It's important." I hadn't given my last name to anyone except at check-in, and even then, I'd only said it once. I didn't answer. I just sat there in the dark, phone in hand, recording audio, barely breathing. The voice waited a long, heavy moment, then whispered through the door, slow and clear. "I know you're alone in there." The words hit me like ice water. I called the front desk one more time, voice shaking so badly I could hardly get the words out. The clerk sighed and said, "We'll send security immediately." 10 long minutes later, there was a real knock. 2 security guys this time. They checked the hallway, the room, the parking lot outside my window, everything. "No sign of anyone," they said, shining flashlights around like it was routine. "Probably just someone messing around in the morning." The day manager shrugged it off with a tired smile. "Probably kids pulling pranks. Happens sometimes near the highway exit." But when I asked to review the hallway security footage, they told me the cameras on that wing were down for maintenance that night. I left that hotel before breakfast, hands still a little shaky on the steering wheel. I have never taken a ground floor room again, and every time I hear a knock after midnight, my mind goes right back to that whisper. I was 34 and in Chicago for my best friend's wedding. I'd flown in a day early to help with last-minute details, so I booked a room at the downtown Marriott where most of the wedding party was staying. Nothing extravagant, just a standard king room on the 8th floor with a decent view of the river. I checked in, unpacked my suit and toiletries carefully, hung everything neatly in the closet so it wouldn't wrinkle, laid out my shoes and tie, and headed out for the rehearsal dinner feeling excited and a little nervous for my friend. The room felt perfectly normal when I left. Clean, quiet, the usual faint hotel smell of fresh linens and carpet cleaner. When I got back around 11:30 p.m., a little buzzed from the open bar and tired from traveling, I noticed small things were off. My suitcase, which I'd left zipped and centered on the luggage rack, was now unzipped about 6 inches. My dress shirts, which I'd hung in order from light to dark, was slightly rearranged, one sleeve turned inside out. I stood there staring for a minute, trying to remember if I'd done it myself in my rush to leave. I figured housekeeping must have come in even though I'd put the "Do Not Disturb" sign out. Hotels do that sometimes. I shrugged it off, brushed my teeth, and went to bed. The next morning I woke up to find even more changes. My shaving kit was open on the counter, and the razor was lying in a different spot, handle facing the opposite way. One of my socks was on the floor near the bed, and in the bathroom there was a half-used bar of soap that wasn't mine. Different brand, different scent, still slightly damp. I called the front desk right away. The woman who answered was apologetic and professional. Housekeeping must have made a mistake with the rooms. "We'll send someone up to fix it right away and make sure it doesn't happen again." No one ever came. That afternoon, after the wedding ceremony, I returned to the room to change for the reception. My laptop bag had been moved from the desk to the chair. Inside, my notebook was open to a page I hadn't written on, and someone had doodled a small smiley face in the margin with a hotel pen. My heart started pounding. I searched the room more carefully and found a single bobby pin on the nightstand. Definitely not mine. I called the front desk again, this time demanding to speak to the manager. He arrived 10 minutes later, looked around, took notes, and gave me the same calm excuse. Sometimes items get mixed up between rooms during turnover, especially on busy wedding weekends. "We're very sorry for the inconvenience, but the room had been vacant the night before I arrived." I double-checked the status on the app. That night after the reception, I barely slept. I kept the lights on, wedged a chair under the door, and lay there running through every moment of the day, wondering who had been in my room while I was dancing and laughing at the wedding. In the morning, my suitcase had been gone through again, zippers in different positions, and a hotel pen I'd never touched was now clipped to my shirt collar like a little taunt. I packed up quickly and left, without checking out formally, my hands shaking as I zipped the bag. When I got home 2 days later, I found one more thing tucked into my wallet, a single photo printout. It was a picture of me sleeping in that exact hotel bed, taken from the foot of the bed in the middle of the night. The timestamp was the night I thought I was alone after the rehearsal dinner. I still don't know who was in my room while I was at the wedding, but I've never trusted a "Do Not Disturb" sign since, and I always take photos of my room exactly as I leave it.